Welcome back to the Social Media Millionaire podcast. It's me, as always, and also everyone's favorite person, Sasha's here.
Oh my gosh, hello. Always so honored and happy to be here, as always.
Dude, all the messages I get, like, I never get messages about any other episodes, just the ones we do. People are like, wow, that was really good.
Ugh, that is so nice. That makes me literally so happy. Thanks,
It's
everybody.
it's basically just the Sasha show. We should change the name of the podcast.
Stop. No, 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 because then it would just get out of hand. It would all go to my head, and I would be crazy. And it would not be impactful, let me tell you. I would be over here just blabbing away. So, but thanks.
The other day, someone was like, aren't you glad that you're married to a professional yapper? And I was like, what? I was like, you've been on TikTok too much. He's like, I'm gonna start my own podcast. Oh, okay.
I love it. Professional yapper. That's what we love to hear. I
No,
love it.
literally. I was like, you need to get off of TikTok. That's a problem.
He's like, no, I need to be on TikTok longer,
Yapping.
yapping away. I love it. He should just start going live all day, every day, all day.
He is on YouTube.
Love it. He loves YouTube. That's like
Well,
his jam. He's like, YouTube is it for me.
he's like, babe, I got 1,000 views on my video.
I
Okay.
love it. I love it. I'll never forget. There was one day where I was like going through your YouTube channel and there was like a video that was playing in the background while I was working. And then all of a sudden I hear Soren and I was like, I don't remember a YouTube video with Soren getting uploaded. And then I look over and it's like Soren in the car talking about his like day, what he's planning on doing next. And I was like, wait a second. And then I look and then I click his channel. I see like all these videos. I was like, all right, Soren, get it, get it, love it. And it was like time lapsed videos too. I was like, okay, okay, get it. I'm proud of you.
Him
Love
and his
it.
little vlogs.
Yeah, I love it. That was awesome.
It's so funny to me. Well, when his sister graduated high school, we like walk in to their like grad party and all these kids are like, oh, Soren, we love your YouTube videos.
Oh my gosh.
they're
Wait,
like
I love that.
they're like all her friends, they like send his videos back and forth.
They have like an entire group chat. It's like, Soren, upload it. Everybody go binge it.
No, literally. Soren's like, that was my 13th reason.
I love it. I love it. And you know they have such a great time watching it too. And they're like dissecting everything. Did you see what he said at minute 32? It was amazing. Amazing.
It was so good.
That is so funny. Look at
It's
him making an impact.
it's rough out there, but you know what's not rough?
Let
Black
me guess.
Friday.
Yes! BLACKFRIDAY. Yay!
Lily would be so mad about your angles there and your
I know.
floppy wrists.
I know. I know. I know. But you know what? She's not here and she's not going to see this.
So
So
funny.
it's okay. Speaking of like cringe, did I tell you? My brother saw my videos on TikTok and
Oh
he
yeah.
goes, yeah, I saw your videos. Real embarrassing. Really cringy to watch. Thank you. Nothing like a teenage sibling to humble you in life. It's
I
great.
love that.
Yes, me too. Me too. I live for it.
Meanwhile, my brother's like, will you audition for American Idol with me?
Wait, I love that. You should.
I don't think I should. Well,
I
I
think
mean,
you should.
all you have to do is you just like submit a videotape. And so I kind of want to do it just to like beat him. I like
Yeah.
I don't really want to do it, but like I would submit a tape just with like the sole purpose of being like, "Oh, I got farther than you did."
You know what? You should do it. And I feel like we should have some kind of form submission on this podcast where people can drop all of their like good luck notes to you for the audition because Kenda Laney for American Idol 2025.
Imagine. Imagine.
Yeah, I
Wow.
did imagine it, and
Give
in
the
my mind, you
trolls.
won. And it's like, I'll take it even a step further. I can't believe I know an American Idol winner. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Imagine you like everyone that like gets past like the interview process is like actually on the show. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this has been my lifelong dream." They're like interviewing everyone and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually just here to beat my brother." So,
Yeah. But then imagine on the flip side of that, people are just so inspired by that. So like everybody else who's like, it's been my lifelong dream, everyone's like, yeah, whatever, everybody says that. But when you're like, I just want to beat my brother, they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I've been wanting to hear. That is so inspiring. I could see it. I could
yeah.
definitely see it.
No, you're so
100%.
right.
Yeah. So let this be your inspiration. After this podcast, I want to hear you go and make the audition tape. Send it in and let all of us know because all of us listening to this want to know where are you at with the American Idol audition.
Where is it? Give it to us.
Yeah. And actually show us the audition tape.
I yeah, that's enough of an incentive to never record it ever.
Well, that kind of hurts my feels, and I'm sure I could speak for everybody. It hurts all of our feelings. We're all deeply hurt from this.
I can live with that.
We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Now that we got that out of the way,
Now we got that
time for
out of the
Black
way.
Friday. Woo! Black Friday in August or September or October, whenever you celebrate.
Yeah, whenever you celebrate it, or, November when people are ready for it. But here's the thing. I feel like everyone and their mom has a Black Friday promotion that they do, but like no, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people don't actually make money. They're like, I'm just gonna discount this and put it out there for Black Friday. No,
Hmm.
I find that deeply upsetting, actually.
Me too. Me too. And honestly, I feel like whenever I see people talking about their discounts for Black Friday, I'm more so incentivized not to buy. I don't
Yeah.
want some. Why are you discounting it?
Yeah.
Is it like, are you doing less? Are you not giving me the same value? Are you not, and also, are you not going to care about me because I got it now at a discount, so you're not really going to take care of me as like a customer or client that would have paid full price? What's the
Yeah.
deal here?
Yeah. I think it's one thing to discount like a template bundle, but for like services, not a fan. Cause like,
Hmm.
why are you discounting your time?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. So I think that there are a lot better ways to do a Black Friday promo without discounting your time. And also if you have like a team that's providing the services too, like if you're an agency, it doesn't make sense to discount at all. So, anywho,
Yeah.
we so Black Friday and like November is always our biggest month of the year, every year. It's always massive. Our team is always super hyped going into it, especially our closers. And we kind of have it down to a science now. Like we just rinse and repeat the same thing every year. Um Usually very similar messaging, and because like we know so well what people need that we just kind of hone in on those more activating pieces of content during that month and let it go.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I feel like it always works out so well. And so
Yeah.
I would love for you to kind of dive into how are you promoting it in a way where you're not discounting the services, you're not discounting your brand, but instead you're building up so much more hype for it, and also giving people that reason to not go with, you know, the business owners who are giving discounts, but
Yeah.
instead going with you. So like, what's the thought process there?
Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can like create promotions. One of our favorites that we've done every year is the extended payment plan. And then we also do a price increase promotion. So basically, we do like a buy now, start later. And so people can join then Black Friday, lock in that price on the current price point because we raise our prices every year. So end of or December 1st, our prices go up. And so people are able to get in on the current price, lock that in. Two, they're able to get the extended payment plan. Usually, we also offer some sort of bonus, like an add on in the offer, and they're getting access to any of the new rollouts that we're going to be pushing out in the program January 1st. So, with that buy now, start later, they get the existing price with a longer payment plan. And they're also getting all the new additions that we're adding to the program as we do the price increase. So that's kind of the way we've done it, and I think that because of the way that we go about planning the promotion or have done in the past, there will be less planning this year because we've done it several times now. But we kind of plan, I was realizing, we plan our Black Friday promotion the same way that we like sit down and plan out a quarter when we do our quarter planning meetings. We map it out the same way because we're like, what are the top three things that we need to have done to make this a success? And we look at like the gaps or anything that we would have changed from last year. And then we plan out like what's the offer? What are the revenue targets? What are the sales metrics that we need? Um, and then we also have like team, like internal bonuses and promotions. Um, to get everybody, make it worth everybody's time to push really hard during the month of November.
For sure.
So,
And I love that we do that because again, discounts just, and the thing is like everybody does a discount.
yeah,
Everybody's like 20% off, 25% off, you know, 97% off.
yeah.
Wild. So this is something that's like so much more different. And I know that the way that
Pattern
we,
interrupt.
yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
And the way that we market it is also so different. But before we even get into the marketing, obviously, like, in order to have, so many clients coming on and being able to fulfill that and be able to work with that many people, you're gonna have to really like set up a lot of processes, a lot of systems to make sure that you can actually facilitate this offer.
Mhm.
So I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on, what somebody would have to do in order to set that up for themselves. So that way Black Friday could be super simple and honestly super fun because it should be a really fun time for you and your business. But I
Mhm.
promise you, it's not going to be fun and you're going to be so stressed out from Black Friday until they're done being your clients if you
Yeah.
don't set yourself up for it. So what would you say like you have to do these things?
Um, oh my gosh. I think Black Friday is kind of like the ultimate test of your systems, and I think one thing to kind of ask yourself, because it can be different for everybody, is like if I had to onboard 100 new clients tomorrow, what would break? What would take too long? What would not work? And so if you're manually sending out contracts, if you're manually adding people into your software, if you have to manually move people through your CRM, if you are if there's gaps potentially with like booking kickoff calls or like your team in terms of delivery and them understanding what they have to do, or if like there's a lot of things that you do to onboard your clients that aren't necessarily systematized, it just lives in your head or a team member's head. Or if you're like, if somebody is signed and then you like text a team member to do something, if that's your current process, then you should have like an automated reminder instead. So automating everything that you can, because that's going to be the number one thing that'll help you not have things go fall through the gaps, and then ensure that anything that manually needs to be done, there should be automated tasks and reminders in your task management system so that no clients are getting lost. um and that's just the onboarding. That's not even management for the duration of the time that they're in the program, or inside of your offer. This year though, I think it's going to be a little bit different for us, because instead of onboarding people and then having them for 4 months, it's going to our offer structure is going to look a little bit different. um which is great for us and for them. Um, I also think, I mean, what do you feel like, because you've been through it with us when
Hmm.
like we were first growing and like we were doing a lot of stuff manually.
Hmm.
What were the things that made it super chaotic?
I would say not like accounting for the holidays and the time that we're going to be away, but then also our clients, and also kind of making it make sense for them, and making sure that, if we are taking time off during the holidays, we are also, making up for it by extending. And so
Mhm.
having a system in place, kind of knowing, okay, they're kicking off at this date. However, because we're also going to be adding in 3 weeks because we're going to take that off, their end date is actually here. And so making sure that your program or your course or your one on one makes sense by, now an extended 3 week period, because
Yeah,
you're not going to just all of a sudden now not take that time off for yourself and your business, and your clients also not going to just be like, you know what, I don't care about the holidays, I'm going to work through it. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge thing, and making sure that you're very clear with that when you're doing a sales call, or if you're doing sales in the DMs, you have to know that ahead of time, because
yeah,
those questions are going to come up.
yeah. The other thing I was thinking is like, we think a lot about onboarding new clients, but there also needs to not be a disruption for your existing clients when you're bringing on a big rush of new people.
Hmm.
So things
Yep.
have to be in place to like have the wheels keep turning for the people that are already your clients as you're
Hmm.
bringing in new people, and not having your focus shift from the people that are already paying you and already in your offers. I think that's a big thing.
Oh, 100%. Your current clients need to still be top
Top
priority,
priority.
along with the new ones, of course. And
Mhm.
with that, I will say, because you are going to have like an influx of people coming in, which is so incredible,
Mhm.
but you have to make sure you're making time for your business.
Yeah.
Your marketing still needs to be at top of mind.
Yeah.
Your sales process still has to, your team understanding what still needs to get done should be top of mind. And I think the very first year, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the very first year that we did this with Black Friday, we obviously had a huge influx of people,
Yeah.
and we kind of put marketing on hold.
Yeah.
Not that we just like completely stopped posting, but we were just repurposing old content. We weren't really, doing the market research like we always do, or creating new content, because we were
Yeah.
so backed up with all of the stuff with brand new clients. And so
Yeah.
because of that like gap of creating the content, we had quite a bit of a slowdown afterwards
Mhm.
because social media needed to build back up.
Yeah. Well, and remember, we ended up having to, the first year, we had to close the doors
Yeah.
for new people like a week before Black Friday even happened, because we'd been
Hmm.
teasing it the whole month and we were full long before we could actually launch for Black Friday.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we didn't even have the systems to support, because
Hmm.
our I think our target, what was our target the first year? It was like 300K,
Yeah.
and we closed the doors right at 300K, and it was long before it was probably a week, maybe even a week and a half before
Yeah.
actual Black Friday, because
Hmm.
we were just full, and we didn't realize we also then didn't sign any new clients in December either, because
Hmm.
we couldn't. And instead of taking a lot of time off in December as we'd planned, we were scrambling to get
Hmm.
things in place for all of the new clients starting January 1st. And
Hmm.
so I definitely feel like we learned our lesson. Well, and we thought that, or at least I thought that, when you bring in a lot of new clients, when it's your first time really at high capacity, you think that it's just going to be more of what you've already been doing.
Hmm.
But it's not more of what you've already been doing. It's what you've already been doing, plus all kinds of new needs and issues and fires that erupt that you never would have even thought would be a problem, or a concern. And so if you're looking at your existing systems and you're like, well, I feel really good about how things are, but what if you had to run 100 people through it tomorrow? Because that's literally what happened to us. We literally went
Hmm.
from signing like 20 to 30 clients in a month to we signed 100 people, and we had to run them through that system tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
And it was in like 15 days, in the span of 15 days, 100.
yeah, yeah, that was
That was
crazy.
wild.
That was wild. So then the next year, we were prepared. We were like, okay, we're not going to put a cap. We have better systems. So now the wheel will keep turning no matter how many people we have come through. And we still closed the doors early because
Yep.
it
Sure
was the
did.
same thing. Like, once we hit our sales target, we're like, okay, we're done. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
And we also stopped posting. We were like, all right, that's it. We're done now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. And like going off of like setting the goal, okay?
Yes.
What's like your thought process behind setting a goal? Because I feel like so often people get like really scared of bigger numbers because it's like, oh,
Mhm.
what if I don't hit it or whatever. Or sometimes they're even thinking like way too highly
Mhm.
of, their business when it's not very, not possible, but you haven't led up to that
Mhm.
number quite yet. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the reality of things. So tell me about your process behind the numbers.
Um, it's not gonna work out perfectly, but kind of the way that I think of it is like, my Black Friday target is usually uh, 2.5 times what you would do in a normal month. So the first year when 300K was our target, we were doing 100 in an average month. So 300 was kind of what I settled on. It was a stretch, but it was good. And then the next year we were doing like 2 to 300 in a month on average. So we set the target at 500. We're like, that feels good. Um and so this year, I feel like we haven't talked about this yet. What do you
Getting
feel like the
spicy.
target should be this year?
I feel like it should be 1 million. I mean, why not like go big? I don't
Why
know.
not? No, you're right.
Yeah.
Because that would follow like our what we've done before, is like
Hmm.
2x an average.
Hmm. Well, and also because this year, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we have spent so much time refining,
Yeah.
improving, building everything within like all of the programs where
Mhm.
it's like, and also with marketing.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
much.
and it so just this whole year has been so much growth in all of those areas where it's
Mhm.
like we can go full force on every single one of those things.
Yeah.
So why not? Why wouldn't we be able to? And that kind of like ties back into kind of what I was saying when, people set a goal really big, which is fine if you have been setting up for it and leading up to it, because it's one thing to say, I want to hit 1 million in a month for Black
Mhm.
Friday, but
It's
you
another
know,
to actually do it.
exactly. And what have you been doing up to that point? Have you been just sitting there kind of like twiddling your thumbs, being like, once Black Friday comes, like that's when everything's going to explode? Like if
Mhm.
that's your mindset, it's not going to happen. But if you've been spending the past like 6 to 9 to 12 months
Mhm.
building yourself and your business and your audience and your connections and your network up for that, that's when you're going to be able to hit it.
Yeah. And you really the momentum carries month over month if you are marketing correctly because the stuff that we're doing now to prime our audience will be very impactful in November. Um and so yeah, that's interesting to think about. Well, you said 1 million and you're right. Like the math does work out there and I'm like that actually wouldn't be that crazy. Cuz we've talked about this before where it's like how are we going to get to 1 million month over month? But, like, Black Friday would make a lot of sense for it to be, like, the first month to happen.
100%. 100%.
I feel like we
Okay.
can
And
do
so,
it.
yeah. But now you're saying a million for like that month as the first month. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with continuing that momentum.
Yeah.
So I want you to kind of tell us, how do you continue that momentum? Because you cannot just vibe out for Black Friday, go all out, do all these incredible things, and then just be like, all right, my work here is done. I'll see you guys again next Black Friday. You can't do that. So how do you keep up that momentum after such an incredible and massive month?
And do you realize that at our current price point, we only have to sign 100 people? It wouldn't be a million cash collected, but we could sign 100 people on average, like, between the 2 different offers. If we signed 100 people now, if we did just what we did last year, we'll do over 1 million in sales that month.
See, insane. And
We're
that's what
gonna
I'm saying.
we're
We've
gonna
been
hit that
just
anyway.
Yeah. So we've just been in such an expansion mode that it's just going to happen so naturally. And I feel like people really need to do
Yeah.
that for themselves too. You have to be expanding up until that point.
Well, and to answer your question about the momentum, because that kind of goes right into like what we're talking about, is like the so currently we're doing a lot of outreach. We're bringing a lot of new people into our audience. Then September, we will be nurturing a lot of those people. Um, October, we'll do another big push for outreach. Our content always goes really viral in October randomly. Like we'll post what we've been posting all year, but then it goes super viral. So October will be another big virality month and then November nurturing and conversion. And so we'll just be like really nurturing the people we're connecting with now and in October. Um and so in terms of like carrying that momentum, like we're looking at a couple different processes. One is like the nurturing and more like immersive content that we're putting out on socials. Second is the optimizations that we're making to our funnel and our email marketing, because that'll be a big push and we'll probably do a bigger push with email marketing this year than we have in the past. And then the other big thing is the also client retention is another thing in terms of carrying that, because the thing is like when you have a big push like in November, what a lot of people are doing is they have those, and we've done this in the past, is like you have those clients for like 4 to 6 months, and then previously like we weren't even trying to retain. We were just like we'll throw all the information that we possibly can at them in this one program and then send them on their way. And we've realized we've really started taking like the less is more approach, where it's better for us to provide like really specific results within a certain time frame and spend more time together than it is to give them a ton of information that they then kind of have to work through on their own after the program's over. So also looking at like the compound effect of like last November to now, and then this November to next November, and planning multiple years out. Um, because a lot of people really just look at their sales and their marketing metrics like the week or the month, and we're looking at it several years out. Where are we going to be year 3 after this? And so everything that we do is very intentional to kind of build upon what we're doing later, um, which allows us to kind of carry that. I mean, if we're carrying momentum year over year, then it's obviously really easy to carry that momentum month over month. So, yeah.
I love it. And I love that you said we're very intentional because you're absolutely right. And honestly, you have to be really intentional if you want to see
Mhm.
growth. You can't just throw, noodles at a wall and be like, okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
And, maybe I'll try it next year. Maybe I'll try something else. You're not gonna get any results with that.
Right.
Um, and so, kind of with that being said, we're obviously very, very intentional with our marketing. And like
Mhm.
you said, we kind of know what's going to be happening in August, what's going to be happening in September with our content, October, obviously leading up to Black Friday. So
Mhm.
you tell me, what are like our main focuses when it comes to content? And I'm not going to say like right now, but I'm going to say in like November when we're really priming audiences and where we're really pushing the offers, because I think where a lot of people get confused about this is they think that when they're trying to sell their Black Friday, they're always selling like the features. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
get my Black Friday pricing. You'll get X, Y, and Z. Ugh.
Right.
And nobody cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. And it's so funny because if you ever go through like Kenda's content through her like Black Friday posts, you will never know she's promoting like anything for Black Friday
Mhm.
ever. And I wish like more people kind of got that, because you don't have to talk about your offer and your discounts and whatever.
Mhm.
You have to talk about something completely different. So I'll let you kind of like break that down.
Yeah. So we will say like, "Hey, we're having a Black Friday promotion." And that's it. Because then people are like, "What is it?" And so it starts those conversations. But like the key things that we hit on is like we do a lot of agitational content because we want to really differentiate ourselves from everybody else that's selling their stuff on sale. So we talk a lot of like industry myths, we talk about our villain, we talk about mistakes people are making, we talk about results, we kind of position ourselves as an authority. We talk about like what we're actually going to teach, so like what is the outcome that they're going to get, what are they going to learn, versus what is it that like is inside of the program, because like you said, nobody cares. And so like, well, I set kind of the strategy, and then you actually make the content. What are the key things that like we focus on with like stories and reels and like short
Hmm.
form? Like what do we do?
So we do a lot inside of stories.
Yeah.
People love stories. People love to be able to have that conversation with you, have that connection with you. And again, in stories, you're not going to get what's in, what's included, yada, yada, yada. We paint a picture of, I know this is where you're at. I know you're struggling with this. These are the steps that would fix all of those problems. And
Mhm.
also, here's proof.
Yep.
And again, our client came to us struggling with this. By fixing these simple things in their business, they were able to go from this to this. And again, somebody that's watching it is able to relate to that and see
Mhm.
themselves in that same position. And so, what that comes down to is really you knowing your audience and what they're struggling with on a day to day basis. And if you don't know that, that type of content is going to be really hard for you to create.
Mhm.
And so, again, knowing exactly who you're talking to in all of your pieces of content is going to be crucial. It's literally going to be a make or break for your content. But
Yeah.
stories are massive. Utilizing story features like polls,
Mhm.
questions, the little sliders, telling them, like, hey, my DMs are open.
Mhm.
drop, this word and let's have a conversation. Always, always, always open the door to have a conversation.
Mhm.
Um, reels are going to be huge. And I will say, typically for Black Friday, we do post a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, and why wouldn't we? Of course, we're
Right.
going to post a little bit more. And so, if you're prepping for Black Friday, have extra content prepped because you're going to want to post it.
Mhm.
And so we also do a lot more like call to action type of content, and also a lot of B-roll type of content where, there's something on the screen that is so super hooky. If you did not listen to that episode, better go check it out because hooky is a thing.
It's
Um,
catching on.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it died. But no, it is catching on. But yeah, having something super hooky and then kind of
Mhm.
having an explanation within the caption. Now, when I say a call to action, I don't mean like, you
Go
know,
buy my stuff.
yeah, or the whole like, follow me for more updates or
Yeah.
comment how you feel below, but something intentional where it's like, I know you're sick of, X, Y, and Z, you know, comment this for more information like on how to do the strategy. Okay.
Mhm.
Obviously that's not like the specific wording, but something similar to that where they kind of know why they're commenting or why they're going to send you a message. Okay.
Yeah.
What are they going to get out of this? They're going to, talk about a strategy or they're going to get information on how to grow this or how to do this. It's something
Mhm.
that's very, very intentional. Now, you don't want to overdo it with like it on every single post because that gets kind of tiresome, right? And people don't want to be sold to on every single post because you're also going to be selling a lot on your Instagram stories,
Yeah.
which we kind of talked about. Now, when it comes to actual in feed posts, this is where you can really hit on the agitational content.
Yeah.
And this is where you can also really hit on what makes you different.
Mhm.
Why is your business and the way that your framework works? Why is that different than anybody else? What makes you better and what makes you be the one that is going to solve their problem? And if somebody is like scrolling through that carousel or that static post and it kind of sounds like everybody else in your industry, so like if you were to go to your explore page and you would see other people posting the same exact thing,
Mhm.
that is your sign that you're just doing it wrong. That doesn't make you unique. That doesn't make you any different from any other person that is doing the same exact thing as you. And I guarantee you, you're not the only one. There's
Yeah.
other people. And so really using that to differentiate yourself is going to be huge.
And really using your personal story too to differentiate you with that because that gives context as to like it gives context to the agitation. Why do you believe that? Why do you think that? Why do you teach it that way? And so it gives you more of a leg to stand on. And then the other thing I'll say is objection handling is huge. When you are going to be pushing so many people through your sales pipeline at one time, handling people's objections before they get into the sales pipeline is really, really key. So if you can handle finance objections, talk to your partner, uh, I don't know if this is the right time. I need to think about it. If you can handle all of those clarity and timing and financial objections on your social media, then you don't have those hangups when it comes through your sales process, especially when you have really big sales targets. Um, the other
Hmm.
thing I'll say is like from those sales targets, you should be able to, and if you don't have this, like obviously this is a deeper issue than Black Friday, but like you should be able to reverse engineer like from your sales target more or less what pieces of content you need to post and how many. So like we can look back like our Pinterest reels with the call to actions that we know do really well. On average, we're going to get between 50 and 100 comments on each of those. From those, our response rate is going to be probably 30 to 40%. And then from those, we know roughly how many sales we're going to make out of that. So the thing is like you should be able to say, like, okay, if we want to make 100 sales, then what we need to do is we need to post 12 reels that are in this context. We need to post 30 stories that have this driver in them, and then we need to post 5 feed posts that are going to do XYZ. And so you should really be able to like reverse engineer not only like this is how much we want to make and these are how many sales we need to make, but like you should know from your content and from your data what exactly needs to go out onto your socials to bring in the amount of leads that you need to close those sales. Like this isn't just like a hope and wish. Like you should have those metrics, you should know. And so like when we sit down to do this planning meeting, like when we say like okay, we're going to hit $1 million in sales revenue, then we need to sign 100 people. How do we get, how many leads do we need to sign 100 people? Well, if we have a 60% close rate, that tells us how many leads we need. How are we going to get those leads? Well, we know roughly how many leads are going to come through from every piece of content. So we can simply just like divide that out, determine what our highest converting pieces of content are, and post only those things during this month. Pretty simple.
100%. 100%. I love that. Um, I'm so sorry to do this, but I'm going to backtrack for like 2 seconds because
I love
I
it.
love I love when you talk about handling objections in your content.
Mhm.
And if the listeners are anything like me, it probably went like whoop, right over their head the first time they heard it because I'm not gonna lie, the first time we talked about like doing objection handling content, I'm not gonna lie, I was like Googling how do I handle an objection in my content? What is this?
What is that?
So, yeah, what is it? I'm sorry, is this new terminology? I've never heard of her. But I would like love to hear, and I'm sure so many people would love to hear kind of like the thought, because here's the thing, it works incredible. And when you know how
Yeah.
to do it in your content, it solves so many of your problems. You're not going to have people constantly getting on a call with you being like, uh, no, I can't afford it, or I can't do that, or this isn't the right time for me, because you're already going to handle all that within your content. So obviously you
Yeah.
don't have to like give all of them. But I would love like two-ish examples of like, an objection and how you would handle it in your content. So people can kind of start being like, okay, well, I could do it this way or this way or this way.
Yes. So let's do the most common, which is the financial objection. And this is where that understanding of the 4 different buyer types really comes into play, because if we know that each of them care more about different things when they make a purchase decision, it would stand to reason that they each care about different things when they have a concern or an objection, right? So, our amiable buyers, likely their concerns around finances are, which I should also preface this by saying most financial objections, it's not actually the objection. It's just they're saying they can't afford it because they actually, one, don't believe that it's going to work, or they don't have clarity around what the offer, or they don't see the value in the offer, right? There's a million reasons why somebody could have a financial objection, but nonetheless, our amiable buyers typically are going to care more about like how that financial burden is going to affect the people around them. So if you can solve that by talking about, well, this isn't a financial burden, these are going to be the benefits for those people that you're worried about, right? That's going to be very impactful if you can show the value there. Same thing with like analytical or driver buyers, right? We know that they're very like focused in like ROI stats. And then the driver buyers, they want outcomes, they want a competitive advantage. So if you can speak to those things in overcoming that objection, it's going to be a lot easier. And then same thing with your expressive buyers, right? They're going to care about different things. So if you can overcome those objections in different ways throughout your content, and literally you just talk about it in your content, you handle the objection exactly as you would on a sales call, but I like to make sure that I'm talking about it and handling that objection in different ways that's going to really make sense for the type of buyers that I'm speaking to. Um, and I can also be very strategic too, because we know that like the people that are watching our Instagram story are typically people that we've been having DM conversations with, because that's just how the algorithm works. So if I've been getting a lot of objections, or like I've been hearing a lot of the same thing in my DMs, I can go on my Instagram story and talk about it and unpack that and overcome that objection. So I'm able to overcome it for multiple people all at once. And usually when people see it in content, it's a little bit more disarming than you like handling it like face to face or like in the DMs even. You obviously can handle the objections there, but if you do it in content, it kind of gives a little bit more space for them to kind of feel like it was their idea. And so I we love doing that. We love doing that.
Absolutely. I love the whole objection handling content. It's so great. It's so perfect. And
It's
like you
fun to make.
said, yeah. And also like you said, in order for you to actually make it, you have to really know your audience and you really have to understand the buyers that are
Yeah,
inside of your audience. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Okay, I feel like that was everything. Thanks for being here. And if you have questions about anything that we talked about in this episode, feel free to DM me. My DMs are always open on Instagram. And we can chat about how to do this for your business. So thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next episode.